Let's kick this video off. Oh shit, I just almost stumbled upon my own pants. I'm already seeing like 500 ring lights everywhere, and I've just started recording this video. This is gonna be brutal. Mamma mia! This is not going in. Mini, this is not going in. No. Hello beautiful people, and welcome to the most amazing Q&A video you've ever stumbled upon. If you're new to this channel, my name is Hannah and I am making videos about my daily life, my eating disorder recovery, and mental health in general. I think there's no reason for just yapping, so let's go on and get this party started. Alrighty. I have my iPad here with all of the questions that you've asked. Thank you for asking so many. Let's start with sentences that don't have a question mark in the end. These were a little interesting, but I mean, as they were written, I'm gonna share them. So, I really miss you. Wish you texted me more. I miss you. Haven't seen you in a while. We've been friends for so long. I really like you. Thanks. You are so attractive. I had a crush on you before and you never knew. Cool. I'm pleased. Thank you guys. But for the future, you can text me if you want. I don't bite. Maybe I can take some of the struggle away. There's no other way I can help you here. Alright, let's actually go to the questions now. So I kind of divided all of the questions into categories, so it would be more logical for me to answer them and also for you to watch the video later. So the first category is like generally about me and about my life. And the first question is quite an interesting one. When did you notice you're an incredible talent for motion? Great question. Next question. What's your favorite meal? Japanese food. Just Japanese food. I can eat Japanese food all day, every day, for lunch, breakfast, dinner, snack, whatever, literally. If I had to pick, it would be like a rice bowl with some fresh tuna and some vegetables and soy sauce and all great things. What's your favorite snack? Alright, there's only one answer for this. It's got to be Ninja Creamy. Whatever kind of ice cream you make with this machine. It's just so amazing, I could talk about it for hours. If I sound a little bit obsessed, it's because I am. Honest truth. Who do you miss the most? Dear family members and dear friends, I'm really sorry, but the person I miss the most is myself. Myself when I was healthy, when I was free from this eating disorder self, and I got to be just me, that's the person I miss the most. What's your favorite part of your body? I understand that you're wanting to know here what my favorite body part is. What actually came to my mind here is the fact how freaking strong it is. The eating disorder has put it through the worst things you can ever imagine, and it's still standing and still working. And the fact that it has gone through all of this shit and it's still going strong, I don't have any words for that. It's just amazing. Winter or summer? Can't lie, summer. I actually just realized a few days ago when it got really cold that the only reason I ever said that winter is my favorite season was because I love to ski. But that was literally the only reason. I get cold really easily, I hate being cold, and it's just so inconvenient. Winter is so inconvenient, you know? You have to own so many clothes, you have to wear them, you have to walk around like Baymax all the time. That's so hard, that makes life so hard. And then imagine summer, being in shorts, a t-shirt. In summer you don't have to worry that your fingers are gonna fall off if you take your phone out for 2 seconds. Everything is just so much easier in summer. That's the conclusion. How often do you think about getting injured when you ski? Before the first injury, never. Back then I could fall, but then get back up again and just go and do it again, no matter how many times I fell. Then after the first injury, it was constantly in the back of my head, and even if I wasn't consciously thinking about it, my thoughts were subconsciously still there. Like in the back of my head, I always had the thought that I have to land perfectly, otherwise I'm gonna get injured. And that's not a really helpful thought to have when you're a freestyle skier. Falling is inevitable, and I realized that the more I had this thought in my head, the more probable it was for me to get injured. And then now after the second injury, it's the only thing I think about. After the second injury, it feels impossible to not get injured anymore. Oh, the brain is such a difficult thing, and it makes life so difficult. Okay, we've made it to the second category, which is called Future and Plans. What are your plans about skiing? Are you planning to ski anytime soon? Okay, now this is a difficult topic to cover because I haven't publicly talked about it. I've only told that to some of my closest friends and family. but the 2 ACL injuries have made me really question my future in skiing, and if putting my life on the line all the time for skiing is worth it. And even though skiing is the love of my life, I have to admit with a heavy heart that I don't see myself going back to the level I used to ski on, or back to the training I used to do in order to go pro one day. That being said, I'm still really looking forward to getting on skis this winter in Estonia and just going to ski for fun. What are you doing in life at the moment? Studying? Oh goodness gracious, we'll be here for hours if I start answering to that. How the hell can I answer it shortly? Alright, well, so I'm not studying at the moment. I'm in this position in my life right now where I don't have anything figured out. Sounds cool, doesn't it? And I don't want to get too morbid here, but I'm at a state where I don't find meaning in anything that I do. And it sucks big time. My everyday life is really dull at the moment, and I don't like it at all because I'm a person who always has to have a mission, something to wake up for every morning. Currently, my daily life is not the thing that inspires me or would inspire anyone else, I think. I don't have something to really focus on, and that's the sad reality, but I'm doing my best to find meaning in small things, and I'm actually working quite hard to move in the direction to achieve my goals so that I would someday get to the life that I love. I mean, just for laughs and giggles, I can list the things for you that I do every day. I play a lot of disc golf, which is actually really sick. I'm so grateful that I have this time at the moment to be able to play this much disc golf. Then I do YouTube stuff. I learn a lot. I watch a lot of videos to make my videos better, to be better on YouTube, and so on and so forth. Then I have some secret missions going on with acting. I practice acting, I'm taking an online course in acting, and I'm also working on getting into some acting schools for next year, which leads me to the next question. What would you like to study in uni? Contrary to my last answer, I actually have this figured out. I want to go study screen acting or film acting, whatever you want to call it, and I actually have my eyes on a couple of schools. I'm not going to say out loud what they are at the moment because I like to be a little secretive about that. But all of them are abroad because there aren't any opportunities to study film acting in Estonia. What are your ambitions for the future? Oh my dear, I'm probably one of the most ambitious people you're ever gonna meet. Yeah, I have quite a simple answer for that. I want to become either an actress or a professional athlete. Simple. Sounds easy? Have you traveled to other countries? Are there any places you definitely want to go to? I haven't traveled too much in my life, but I feel like I've traveled a decent amount. Some of my favorite places I've ever been to are Canada. I've been to the US twice, and for sure Bali is one of my favorites as well. Number 1 on my list right now is Japan. Before, I already told you about my love for Japanese cuisine, but I honestly love so many things about Japan. I'm also studying Japanese. I'm immersing myself in the culture. I read about Japan, I watch videos and movies about Japan. Yeah, I just like everything about Japan at the moment. So definitely Japan, number 1 on my list. And I really want to go there. If you are planning to go to Japan and missing a travel buddy, do you see your future in Estonia? That's an interesting question because I've lived abroad and Estonia will always be my home. But if I'm honest, I see my future more outside of Estonia, at least for some time in the future. I definitely want to live abroad. I feel like we are lacking some opportunities that I want to have in my life here in Estonia, and that some other countries would provide these opportunities. So right now I can quite confidently say that I want to live abroad for an extended period of my life, for sure. Do you want to have kids in the future? For sure. I definitely want to have a couple of biological children, and I've also thought about adopting. For some reason, adopting has been a very close thing to my heart from a very young age. I was really small when I wrote down a life goal that I want to adopt at least 1 child in my life. Next category. Eating disorder things. Firstly, I want to address that everything that I say is based on my experiences and my opinions, and you shouldn't take anything as professional advice. What's your feeling about exercise in recovery? It is a difficult topic because eating disorder recovery looks different for everybody, but in general, I feel like exercise should be cut out during eating disorder recovery, at least for an extended period of time. There are 2 main reasons why I think that. The first one is that quite often people's bodies who have eating disorders are so malnourished And that's not a state you want to do any exercise in. You need the time to let your body recover and to let it rest. Exercising can really hurt your body even further. The second reason is that for a lot of people, exercise becomes compulsive, and people tend to use it as a way to compromise for the food that they're eating. Which actually leads me to the next question, which is, have you ever struggled with compulsive exercise? I'm lucky to say that I haven't. I was actually the one who told my coaches and my physio that I need to stop working out and exercising because I can see that it's counterproductive and my health is getting worse and worse. Well, there's just no effect on the training really. So I think that's a great example which shows that I don't use it as a way to cope or compensate. What's the best advice you've received during recovery? Oh my god, there's so much good advice. But as I can't tell you everything, I'm gonna just go with the one that popped in my head first. And that would be having a dialogue between your eating disorder self and your healthy self. And by that I mean really going deep and really diving into the dialogue in situations like facing a fear, wanting to engage in an eating disorder behavior, or other things like that. It's so important that I can't address it enough how important that is, that you would have a clear dialogue between your eating disorder self and your healthy self. One more really important thing about it is that when you have this dialogue, try to make your healthy self win as much as you can. That's really important because you want to act upon your healthy self, not your eating disorder self. How do you deal with negative comments or judgment? Now, everything that I say will sound easier said than done, but I would say focus on yourself and just dive into yourself. Try to create yourself a protective bubble that will protect your energy from any negative energy from the outside that is trying to bring you down. And just try not to engage in it. I know it might sound that I can do it well, but believe me, there are no days that I don't struggle with this myself. So we're in this together here. How do you balance social situations involving food? I don't deal with them really well, to be honest. I get quite anxious in social situations involving food, and they are really hard for me. So I feel like I'm not in a position to give good advice on that, because that's a thing I struggle with myself quite a lot as well. How has your parents' support changed as time has gone on when you've been ill? It has definitely changed a lot. Like I've told you before, I divide my eating disorder into 2 parts, and I had a remission period between those 2 times for like 2 or 2.5 years. And during the first period, I was still very young. I was, like I said, 14 to 16, 17, and I was still underage. My parents took a lot more responsibility. They used to make all my meals and pick out my snacks. Basically, they had full control over what I was eating, and they had a lot more say in my recovery. Whereas now I am an adult and I still live with my parents, and they still try to help me and support me, but the truth is that I don't really let them. And I'm not proud of that, and I wish I could let them help me more, because the healthy part of me believes that it could be very beneficial for my recovery. But it's really common for people with eating disorders that it's super difficult to let go of control and to let anyone else than yourself take it. So that's the thing I struggle with, and I admit that I should let people help me more. So to conclude it, during the first period of my eating disorder, my parents had full control over my recovery, and right now I'm the one behind the driving wheel. Done with the eating disorder segment.
Family.
What's your favorite family tradition? Again, I'm gonna tell you about the first thing that popped into my mind. So this is a New Year's tradition. If you don't know, there is a really cool game called Dixit. And it has some really awesome cards inside. They're quite surreal, and you can interpret them in 1,000 of ways. They have beautiful art, and quite often there are really small details, so you have to look really close to get the full experience of a card. And as long as I can remember, on New Year's Eve we take the pack of these cards, and then each family member takes 2 cards. One card is for the year that is coming to an end, and the other card is for the next year. Wait, let me illustrate that for you. So here I have a deck of tarot cards, but that's not important at the moment. For example, this year it looked like that. So I shuffle the cards, and then I think, my 2024, and I pull a card and set it on the side, and then shuffle it again, as long as you want, kinda. You can actually insert whatever kind of question you want there. So for example, What do I need to hear about my 2025? And then you pull another card and set this on the side as well. And then you take both of these cards and just look at them. And then we usually show them to each other, discuss them. And what's really fun is that we did it last year, for example, as well. So 2023 changing to 2024. And I always like to look back at the card that I took in the beginning of 2024 now, a year later, and see how the card that I took in the beginning of 2024 goes together with the card that I now took in the end of 2024, or what kind of similarities they have. And that's one of my favorite things we do every year with my family. And I love that it has become kind of a must-do thing every time the year changes. Okay, a juicy question coming up. Your family has gone through some pretty big changes in the recent years. Your eating disorder and your family members' transition, for example. How has everyone dealt with these big changes? It hasn't been easy, but I respect the privacy of my family members and I don't want to speak for them. So I'm only gonna say what I think about it. Obviously, with the eating disorder, family relationships are hugely affected. And I mean hugely. And it's so ironic that my parents want to support me so much, but usually them trying to give support equals arguments, because for the eating disorder, that's very, very triggering. Parents' support is danger for the eating disorder, because the thing that my parents are supporting is recovery, not the eating disorder. So they're supporting my healthy self to make healthier choices, to move towards being recovered one day. But for the eating disorder, that's the worst thing ever. So that explains really well why family relationships are quite often not the best for families who have to support someone who's going through an eating disorder. Now, even if I leave the eating disorder to the side, I would say that at the moment, my relationships with some of my families are quite on the rocks at the moment. And I feel like it has a lot to do with me, because like I told you before, I currently am in this state in my life where my glass is only half full all the time, and I feel like this makes me act like a person who I actually don't want to be. And yet there have been other big changes. For example, the transition of one of my family members. It has caused a lot of tension between us as a family. But if I talk about myself, once the news got out, I started feeling so much better and like a weight had lifted from my shoulders. For me, it's not a taboo, and now I can freely talk about it. We're done with the family segment as well, and now let's move on to an intriguing last part of this Q&A video. Relationships. Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert? I think I am an extrovert because I love social interactions. I love being around people. I hate being alone. I hate being alone. That's another topic, but I think I'm scared to be alone. I've been extremely social as long as I can remember, and that's how usually people describe me as well. However, I do need my own time and my own activities. It's super important for me to have at least a little bit of my own time each day to do my mindfulness practices, my meditation, my journaling. But all in all, I think I thrive with being surrounded by other people. How has your eating disorder affected your romantic life? It has absolutely killed it. And even though I say it at the moment, it doesn't mean that it's not a thing I want to work on. I think this is something that is very common for people with eating disorders to struggle with. I don't even know how to describe it. Now I'm gonna say something. I understand that by saying this I can shoot myself in the leg. But I feel as if I have become unable to fall in love. And I think I might have discovered where this comes from. When you're struggling with an eating disorder, all your energy that you have, which most of the times you don't have a lot of, because you have quite literally malnourished your body, so it doesn't have the energy, but the energy you do have all gets lost with fighting with the eating disorder. You just don't have energy for a relationship. I mean, a romantic relationship here. That's my take on it. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that's just how I feel. I hope that this misery will end soon, because it is a nasty feeling. I cannot lie. The second thing is that your love for yourself is so low that you don't see a possibility for someone else to love you. Oh God, I'm realizing how difficult this question is. Yeah, I'm not gonna go further about this here in the video, otherwise I'll just keep talking about it for too long. Conclusion, eating disorders don't do anything good for your romantic life. Even if your eating disorder tells you you're skinnier and should be loved more, it's a lie. Do you have a crush right now? I might not. You never know. Are you looking to date someone right now? Asking for a friend? Dear lovely person who asked that question for their friend, you can tell your friend that they don't need to be scared of me and they can try writing me directly. Want to start talking more often? Sure thing, but it's a little bit difficult when you write me an anonymous question. Alrighty friends, that's the end of the relationship segment and also the end of the entire Q&A video. I have been recording for 1 hour and 50 minutes straight, so good luck for me with editing. I'm impressed if you got to this part of the video, so leave a teddy bear emoji like this one when you did, and then I know that you're the real ones. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and for being interested in this little girl's life. If you liked watching me answer all of these questions, leave a like down below and subscribe to see more of this beautiful face. Until next time, bye bye.